Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Show You the Business with your host and 10x profitability coach, Joanne Leasure. Today's special guest is Ed Kmetz, owner of Pure Sight and Sound, a home and commercial audio and video automation installation business. He and his team serve in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, with surround sound systems and video design, installation, and consulting to both residential and commercial clients. In conversation with Joanne today, Ed will talk to you more about what Pure Sight and Sound provides to their customers, different types of customers they have worked with, how the pandemic has affected his business, and much more. So stay tuned. And as always, if you like today's episode, please be sure to give us a like and leave us a comment to let us know your favorite part of the conversation. Also, be sure to tap that subscribe bell to get notifications when the next episode airs. And as always, thank you for watching or listening, and enjoy the show.
Welcome, Ed Kmetz from Pure Sight and Sound. Ed,
Thank you. Great to be here.
You and I have known each other for quite some time through BNI. So
Indeed.
awesome to have you. Thank you for being here. Now, Ed, tell me, your company is called Pure Sight and Sound. Tell me what you guys do there.
So we do home and commercial automation, audio and video. Mostly audio and video.
Okay.
Anything from a TV in a doctor's office, waiting room, to dozens of TVs in a bar, where every TV and source is controlled from an iPad instead of, the bartender chasing remotes around and trying to figure out which one goes with what TV, and a whole lot of fumbling. We've done over a dozen houses of worship. That's houses of worship is the industry term for churches, synagogues, that sort of thing. We do sound in there and video and broadcast quality video if they want to stream their services. So take the service beyond the boundaries of the building. Yeah.
Awesome. And actually, I go to one of those house of worships, and I have to tell you that the sound is amazing.
Excellent.
It's amazing. And I think you also, during the Zoom era, which we're still in, but you installed, is for St. Luke's, you installed the equipment so that they could actually video, and stream live, right?
Yeah. St. Luke's, we've done quite a lot of work there. We started with replacing all of the old 20-year-old equipment that was in the broadcast room. And I mean, the guy did a terrific job just holding it together with, tape and baling wire and zip ties. It was unbelievable. And they had camera people on the floor, pushing cameras around, the wired cameras. So we changed all that, where we put cameras around the building. They're all controlled from one little control panel with a joystick, and you can select the camera and steer it around, pan, tilt, zoom. And we send the services at 10:30 every Sunday across Blue Ridge, and of course on Facebook and YouTube. And so, people who maybe can't make it to Mass or choose not to drive in the snow or whatever, they can see it from home.
Absolutely. And I catch the weekday AM masses as well. So they're using it all the time. So it's like awesome work. So Ed, what is your background?
So background goes back a long time at this point. I started out, I guess my first entrepreneurial job was mowing lawns in the neighborhood. I was a paper boy. I sold candy. My dad worked in a grocery store, so this is of course long before BJ's or any of that stuff, Costco. But I was able to buy candy wholesale and then sell it at retail to my friends in the school. Of course, one day the nun caught me literally in the act, and she said, "Mr. Metz, yesterday I picked up 90 candy wrappers off the floor." Unfortunately, my customers were not fastidious, and so I got busted. That ended my candy career, but I continued from there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
After that, I went to Drexel. I have a degree in materials engineering from Drexel. Worked in Asia for 13 years for a little engineering company, and actually pretty big engineering company in Philly. I was an international sales manager and application engineer there. From there, I had another couple of jobs before I started my own gig back in 2003.
Yep. Awesome. My little brother used to have the same gig in junior high school with selling candy.
Really?
It was him and a friend down the street. And of
Yeah.
course, my brother was the one who always bought the candy, but for some reason they split everything 50-50. And my mom felt like that was not fair.
Not fair unless the other kids doing some serious sales or something. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that's awesome.
Funny.
That's awesome. And you and I have gone to like a Japanese restaurant, and you surprised me. I didn't know that you had spent time in Asia, but you surprised me because you knew the menu and you could say a few words. And that was
Sure. I remember some of it. I went to school there for a while, and I was based in Japan and used to travel all throughout Asia. So a great time in my life.
Yeah. So how did you get started in this audio visual automation business?
Yeah, well, I was working for a company in New Jersey, and they had some turmoil at the top, and I decided that was not the sort of environment I wanted to be in, and we had a guy had put a little surround sound system in our family room, and I called him up, and I'd done some research. At that point, the Poconos was going through pretty good building boom, and I called him up and said, "Hey, you want to work for me?" And he said, "Sure." And that's really how it started. So we got started there, doing houses and clients all over the place. The business came tumbling in. Some years were fantastic. Some years, 2008 kind of time frame, a little skinnier. But we stayed in business, pretty much outlasted our competitors, and here we are, 20 years later. It's amazing.
Right. Wow. When you're doing these projects, like, what is your best client? What kind of projects you really like to do?
So, yeah, of course, every project is different. And I'm glad of that. It'd be pretty boring to just do the same thing all the time. So we talk to the client. We do what they need, right? As much or as little as they want us to do. My, oh my. Favorite projects, some of our favorite projects and favorite clients. One's a retired orthodontist, super nice guy, absolutely great wife. They had, couldn't believe it when we walked in. They had, I don't know what company did this before we were there, but they had an entire equipment rack blocking the doorway to their dining room. There was an equipment rack just there in the doorway. You had to turn sideways to get into their dining room past this equipment rack. Like, well, this is crazy. So, that was my opening project with them. I said, how about if we take all of this stuff and put it back on the other side of the room? And it was a pretty daunting task. We had to move all the wires and, put connectors on, all sorts of things. But we did manage to figure it out and move everything to the back. And they've been fantastic clients ever since. Boy, oh boy, we've had we seem to get into some flood damage work. People get floods, either like ice makers. Couple of examples. An ice maker broke to their refrigerator, and the little line just leaks into the basement, and boom, it trashes their home theater. So we work with the insurance company to replace all that stuff, and we can do some upgrades at the same time.
Awesome.
That's fun. We meet some really nice people. We have some very, very, I don't want to say picky, let's say particular clients who are, they know exactly what they want. And sometimes they don't want to see speakers. So we put literally invisible speakers in their walls. These speakers install just like a sheetrock repair. They get painted over, spackled over, painted over, boom. They're completely invisible. You just can't tell that they're there at all until you hear sound coming out of your wall. So a lot of people like that effect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In your showroom, by the way, I do remember you have, it's so fantastic because it gives such a vibe, those speakers that you can't see, those invisible speakers.
Yeah.
It gave it, you wouldn't even realize the type of room that we were in, that, it's definitely amazing the way you had it set up, because I just felt like I was in an experience as opposed to just listening to music.
Right. We love that. In fact, every project I love to do a little something extra. I like that little something that makes it unique, whether it's an invisible speaker, that's kind of different. But we always try to give somebody that little extra that they weren't expecting. A cool, paint job, a neat design, some way better sound than they were expecting. Sometimes I'll just upgrade people. I'll have a deal at a distributor or something comes through and I go, oh, I can, it doesn't cost me that much more to do this fantastically better system than they were expecting. And people are very happy to get that, right? Who doesn't love a free upgrade? So we do that a lot. We've worked for judges and lawyers, and we do a lot of fixing of messes. If there's a problem, so another company will go in and install something. It just isn't right. The client just doesn't like it. So a lot of times we'll go and figure that out and figure out how to make it better. Okay, we didn't do the whole job, but we'll come in at kind of after the end when they've thrown the other guys out, and we get to figure it out and make it right. So we do a lot. Obviously we'd prefer to do it from the get-go, but we love fixes. It's part of the creative process. We love to go in there and figure out problems.
That's awesome.
Health clubs, I kind of, you name it, we've probably been in some sort of business over the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
So how do you go about getting new business?
Well, member BNI, like yourself, BNI Business Network International, been a member of the Stroudsburg BNI chapter for almost 20 years now. She's 2004, so 19 years anyway. That's a big part of it. Of course, I get business from our chapter. I also visit other chapters and get business from those other chapters as well. I'm one of they call them director consultants. So I'm a director consultant for BNI, like yourself.
Yes.
I subscribe to Angie Leads, which is kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes I get some real home runs there, and sometimes they're real clunkers, but hopefully the home runs outweigh the clunkers there. Mm-hmm. And of course I get referrals. Clients do refer us to other clients, or they get we do phase 1 and then they're ready for phase 2 in a year and whatever. We're very patient. My record from initial proposal to final okay is 6.5 years. So we don't have a pressure. We don't have a timeline, right? If somebody says, oh, we're not ready to do something right now, I just tell them that's fine. My record's 6.5 years. If you get to like 6 years, I might call you and say, hey, you're going to break the record. But short of that, we just, we work with folks and we stay in touch and we do what they want when they're ready to do it, work on their timeline.
Awesome. That's awesome. We do, I'm a 10X certified coach, and I follow Grant Cardone. I'm a Grant Cardone licensee, and follow up. So your follow-up must be on point for you to still be following up and reaching out 6 years later.
Yeah. We, until the project is done, or they say it's dead, or they move away or something, we just keep we keep in touch. I've been called professionally persistent, which is okay, not annoying, but just we want to be there when they're ready to go. So
absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. All right, Ed. So how has the last few years with the struggles with the pandemic, how has that affected you and your business?
It's like I mentioned, we're actually busier and more profitable than ever. Right during, of course, when the whole world was shut down, of course we were shut down. But since then, we certainly bounced back. We do the right thing when no one is looking, right? We say what we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And like I said, every project we try to include that little something extra the client wasn't expecting, and they go, oh, that's cool. Who doesn't like free stuff?
Yeah.
So a little boost on every project.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are busy. Glad you guys are busy.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint, what are you most proud of?
Well, we certainly like to give back to the community. Some years ago, we actually donated a a bunch of equipment to the local cancer treatment center where, funny story there, we were going to donate a fish tank, a gigantic, I have a fish tank in my house in the wall of the dining room. So you can watch the fish while you eat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do the same thing there at the cancer center. And we were moving down the track. I had people lined up to do the maintenance. We were going to buy the tank, donate all this stuff. We were going to put audiophile quality sound in the ceiling. So the people, as they're getting cancer treatment, could just kind of hang out and groove to the tunes and watch the fish and have a good, relaxing experience. And then the infection control people at the hospital called and said, no, you can't put a fish tank in that room because, of course, if you or I get a drop of, fish water on us, so what? But an immunocompromised person might, it could kill them if there's some sort of bug in that fish water. Gotcha. So we shifted gears. And we ended up putting some TVs in the room with headsets where people could tune into either TV, gave them some video games, some personal DVD players. So we still managed to do the project and did that along with the local Rotary Club. So that's fine. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've always actually called you a hero. I wrote an article Ed Kmetz is a hero. So that brings me to my next question. What do you do outside of Pure Sight and Sound, Ed?
I still do lots of things outside of Pure Sight and Sound. I'm a pilot. I love flying. I haven't flown in a little while, but have a power rating and a glider rating and high performance rating. I'm an EMT. I work for a local ambulance company at least a couple of shifts a month. I'm a EMT instructor, CPR instructor. I just got certified in advanced cardiac life support, ACLS. Wow. So just try to keep busy and interested in a bunch of different things.
You see, audience, I told you he's a hero.
I don't know about hero. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, how can we find out more about you, more about Pure Sight and Sound? Where can we find you?
Yeah, the best way, just go to the website. It's puresightandsound.com, PURESIGHTANDSOUND.com. And or give me a ring. The phone number's on there. We pick up the phone almost always when I see it's a client calling. Doesn't matter what time. I've gotten up at 10 o'clock at night to go fix a major problem sometimes, and stuff happens, right? You got to be able to respond, and so we're kind of known for our after sale service as well. So that's something we're pretty proud of. But we'll get there. We'll make it work. We'll keep it working, and we'll stick with the client through it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had you guys do something for me. It was something small,
right.
But you sent out 2 real good guys. And after they were finished, they showed me how to work the remotes and all the little tricks and tips. And I really loved it. Very personable. Love you guys.
Right. Yep. We only hire nice people. So nicer than
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we're going to have your contact information in the show notes, Ed. So thank you for spending some time with me this afternoon and letting us know about Pure Sight and Sound.
Thanks, Joanne. It's been a total pleasure being here. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And as a Grant Cardone licensee, I want to tell you, make it a 10X day.
10X day. All right.
10X day. Great, Ed. Thanks so much.
Thanks a million.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See ya.